Thanks for coming here today. I'm joined by the Assistant Commissioner who will give some more details about the new declared public precincts in a moment. Earlier this year, the Labor government passed legislation that allows the Police Commissioner to declare a certain place a declared public precinct. This was in the context of knife laws that we've passed, the most stringent knife laws anywhere in the country. What this allows is once an area is declared a declared public precinct, the police have significantly more powers, in particular the ability to use handheld metal detector wands without having to have reasonable cause, particularly to look for weapons like knives. We've seen 11 shopping centres across metropolitan Adelaide declared public precincts over the last few months. Before the actual test started, the Adelaide Railway Station was declared a public precinct, and as of today, all Adelaide Metro public transport services, so the trains and the trams themselves, as well as all stations, are declared public precincts. So people that are entering into these areas should be aware that police have the ability to use those metal detection wands to search for weapons. This is about doing everything we can to make South Australia as safe as possible. I'm grateful for the police for their work in drawing up and defining these public precincts, and I'll hand over to the Assistant Commissioner to explain a bit more.
Thank you, Attorney. Police welcome these new authorities that enable police to wand people in these new declared places. That is all public transport services and 34 transport hubs. That means any place that you can use your Adelaide Metro card on a public train, tram or bus, or any station, interchange or park and ride like is at the entertainment centre here. Police can use those powers to conduct a search. It's of the person and their property. Police can also order people who are posing a risk to public safety to move away from those areas or off those public transport vehicles. Police have had these authorities in other places for some time. As the Attorney has just said, the Adelaide Railway Station was declared just before Christmas, and before that 11 shopping centres were declared precincts as well. Police have located 18 weapons from people in the shopping centres and the Adelaide Railway Station and conducted over 4,000 searches of people. This helps us to keep the community safe. It helps us in the lead up to New Year's Eve in keeping people safe as they commute on our public transport systems and go about their business. Police welcome any initiatives that we can use to help keep the community safe.
Can you talk to us about the timing of this? Is it ahead of New Year's Eve? Obviously a lot of people will be on public transport over New Year's Eve. Has the timing got anything to do with how many people will be using public transport over that period of time?
Yes, we've had this legislation for a little while now, but yes, absolutely. This will be a peak time. We're encouraging people to catch public transport as they go about the festivities of New Year's Eve. And it's taken a while for us to get together the information to be able to make these declarations, but we feel it's a really important step for police to be able to do that.
You mentioned 18 weapons. Can you just elaborate? Do you have any information about sort of what kind of weapons have been seized?
Yeah, they've mostly been knives, but there's also been knuckle dusters and other items that have been seized. These are the type of things that we don't want people to be having, whether that's in our shopping centres or on our public transport vehicles as well.
Has there been an instance that sort of prompted this specifically, like a train station or on a train where there's been something happen?
There's something that happens all the time. I've read a lot of information in the lead up to making this declaration, and it's actually quite frightening what people think is okay to carry on their person, and it doesn't make the community feel safe. We want the community to be able to commute across the metro area and along Gawler and into Mount Barker and feel safe as they're doing that.
So this is almost as much about keeping the community safe as it is making them feel safe and that sense of safety as they do move around over the next sort of year of time?
Absolutely. We don't want people to have to change what it is that they should that whatever they're wanting to do, people should be able to go about their lives and feel safe as they're doing that. I think the fear of crime can sometimes be just as real as actual crime that's committed, and so it's really important that people use our transport services and feel safe doing so.
Will police be on trains and at stations on New Year's Eve?
Yes, absolutely. There is a massive operation order that's been put together, as there is on any New Year's Eve, to make sure that police are out in force, making sure that people are having a good time, but that they're doing it responsibly.
And do these declarations have an end date, or are they indefinite?
So the legislation allows it to be indefinite, but we absolutely will conduct a review to make sure that these laws are appropriate, that the areas that we have declared are appropriate as well.
I know you're probably limited with the amount of information you can share about some operational details, but how many officers should we be expecting to see enforcing or doing this wanding and in declared public precincts, particularly related to public transport?
Yeah. We have specific police whose role it is to commute on our trains, trams and buses, but any police can do this, and we use our intelligence, and the local police know what's going on in their particular areas, and they'll police as they see is the most appropriate to keep their local communities safe.
Police looking at any other areas that might be declared as public precincts sort of in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. At this point we don't have any shopping centres regionally, and so we are looking at that at the moment to see whether or not there's shopping centres there or other places under the legislation that we can declare.
What might those other places be?
It could be declared public events, so any event that comes up we can use it for, or places of worship.
Going on from that question, it might be one for the Attorney General, but I mean, is this the new normal? Are we just going to... is every area soon going to be a declared public place?
So the legislation's quite specific in relation to the places that the Commissioner can declare, and it's up to government of the day to determine whether or not those areas will be increased.
So do you think soon police will be able to search anyone anytime? It's going that way for shopping centres now, public transport, pubs and trains, events.
This legislation is specifically designed to allow the Police Commissioner to make that judgment about areas where there might be an increased likelihood of people carrying a weapon or committing an offence. So this doesn't apply broadly across every single place in the whole state, but in places where there is that need, make sure the public are safe and feel safe.
But really the metro stations, trains, public transport, a lot of shopping centres, that is getting quite large now. Are people valid in their concern that this is an overreach in police powers?
No, not at all. These are confined areas that the police commissioner looks at, decides that it's appropriate in the circumstances to declare a place a declared public precinct. It's not designed for the whole of the state at all times, and the powers are allow people to be moved on from that precinct, and also to use the metal detection wands. So they're not invasive in that sense. But people should be aware that if you're carrying a knife and you don't have a need to, that the police do have these powers in these public places, and people are getting caught.
Do you think that this might see, though, a disproportionate impact on, say, lower socioeconomic people who are needing to use public transport, or people of colour? Are you worried that this is going to have an undue influence on those sorts of people?
No, this is designed specifically in relation to being able to detect people who are carrying knives who don't need to carry them. So it applies equally to anyone who's in a declared public precinct, and it's designed to make sure that these precincts are safer.
Do you think, though, in practice that's how it's going to work? We see disproportionate rates of Indigenous incarceration, being arrested, and we do see people of colour being targeted. Do you think there is going to be a risk that this is going to
I have every confidence the police will use these powers as they have appropriately. We've seen police conduct use these powers in places such as Marion or Burnside Village. So police conduct these searches, use these powers without fear or favour to try and keep that Australia safe.
Ask the assistant commissioner.
I understand that the bank declaration is due to end on the 8th of Jan. Do you think that would be extended? Yeah, I was thinking...
Let me just pick up. I can check it back.
Yeah.
Sorry, I might just ask you. You mentioned that a review will take place to assess the necessity of keeping these powers going. At what sort of time frame does that review occur?
So I've asked for that review to occur within a 12-month period to have a look and see if the areas that we've declared are too big, too small? Have searches been conducted there? Have weapons been located? It's important that we make sure that the declarations are either necessary or appropriate as per the legislation, and that's what the review will do.
You mentioned, sorry, just for the 18 weapons and the 4,000 searches. Can you just clarify those 18 weapons? Is that in all of, where is that specifically?
That's all of the declared shopping centres, so the 11 shopping centres as well as the Adelaide railway station.
Since they've been introduced.
Yes.
Does this sort of expansion then justify, out of 4,000 searches, 18 weapons? Sure, it's a reasonable amount, but in consideration of, I'm imagining, the cost and all those sorts of things, is this a valid investment relative to that number that's coming out of it?
Yeah, so in the applications that were put to me in making the declaration, I had a look at a number of the weapons that have been detected on trains, trams and buses, as well as in the transport hub, so the railway stations or the car parks associated with those areas. And it's actually been quite concerning how many knives and other weapons have been found. So I will be disappointed, but I won't be surprised that we will continue to find weapons on people. I'm hoping that by getting this message out that police have these authorities, that it will be a deterrent from people taking these weapons onto public transport vehicles.
What about the ashes? Were any knives found in Adelaide Oval while that was a precinct?
I don't have that information on me at the moment, sorry.
You mentioned there that there are like an existing amount of knives and weapons that are being found on public transport. Do you have any numbers around that? Can you give some context on how many instances they have been of this?
No, I don't have. Not in totality, no. A lot of research had been done, particularly in relation to the trains, but I haven't got all of that information in relation to the buses and trams.